This video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you're after a website, a domain, or you're looking at building an online store, make your next move with Squarespace and use the discount code Andrew Marr. G'day there. We're just packing the car up. The camera gear is already loaded up in the car. Kate and I are headed up to Shark Bay for a couple of days and we're going to bring you guys with us. I can't wait. This should be good. For those of you who aren't from Western Australia, Shark Bay is a lazy 10-hour drive north of Perth through the wheat belt of the Midwest to the Gascoyne region. Kate hasn't been to Shark Bay and we have a couple of new additions to the Ranger, so this was the perfect excuse to get out and try them out. Not only is this our first trip together with the new rooftop tent from Camp King Industries, but we also have a new travel buddy on board. So we're going to have some hot pies on the road and also have some fun experimenting with a few meals. The Shark Bay area is full of history. Not only is it one of the earliest recorded contact points of European visitors to Australia at Dirk Hartog Island in 1616, but there is a rich history of occupancy of First Nations people going back a staggering 22,000 years. There is an abundance of wildlife and incredible beauty, and that's why this area is World Heritage listed. It's also why I'm really looking forward to getting out for some landscape photography. Good morning guys, and welcome to Shark Bay. This is a beautiful morning and I'm so pleased that I got up this morning, got up at around about 5:30 and made my way out to the National Park. By the way, I'm staying with Kate at Monkey Mire. This is our second night at Monkey Mire. But even though I've been up each morning previously, this is really the first morning that we've had just incredible conditions. I'm standing right next or right on the beach and it's so peaceful and quiet. You can see behind me the water is absolutely dead flat. Now we are in a bay, of course, so it is protected, but for the last couple of days it's been really windy. We've had both easterly winds and wind from the west as well, and that's created some real choppiness and conditions that haven't really been ideal for photography because it's just been so windy. So Kate and I have been exploring around for the last couple of days, looking at different areas and just becoming familiar with different coastlines and things like that. And what I've realized is the photography or certainly the photography that I want to be taking, is going to be about colour, because the palette of colour in Shark Bay is unbelievable. The reds of the cliffs, the blues of the ocean, just the green of the bush is quite remarkable, and getting contrasts between those colours I think would look really, really nice. So that's what I've been looking for. Specifically this morning, or for the last day and this morning, I was looking for the red cliffs of Shark Bay. And they are dotted around the area, but they're a little bit difficult to get to. But I found one not so far away from where we're staying. Let me just turn the camera for you, and I'll bring you around to the cliff that is just behind me, and you can see the earthy tones and rich red orange colours of that cliff, and it just extends all the way down that beach there, which is amazing. So this morning, that was pretty much what I wanted to do. So I got out here, I've parked the car just a little way up on top of the cliff there, made my way down to the beach and have been walking along, trying to find a composition in amongst all of these stones and rocks. Now the colours of these rocks are just incredible, but trying to make a composition, trying to make a little bit of sense and a composition where the eye is led through these rocks hasn't been all that easy, but that's the fun that I've been having this morning. There are also these rocks behind me which are closer to the water, and you may be able to pick up that some of them have got these amazing greens from the moss that's growing on them. So I've been using that as a bit of foreground. I've been using some of the red rocks as a foreground, and then of course this red cliff as a bit of a feature on the right hand side. And of course on the left I've had this beautiful, beautiful water. You'll see also in the sky I've had some pretty amazing cloud as well. This is mid-level cloud, so it's not high-level cloud, so it unfortunately didn't catch too much of the light, but it's not too low to be to create too much of a gloomy, moody feel. So when I got out here before sunrise. The sun rose from the left-hand side, just off in the distance there, and you may be able to see just a little bit of a slit on the horizon there, but unfortunately there's actually cloud there. So as the sun rose, it unfortunately didn't shine through. I was hoping that the sun was going to shine through and just light up these cliffs, but it didn't quite happen that way, unfortunately. I did get just a tint of colour in the clouds just above there, so I'm not complaining. It's such an amazing experience to be out here in these conditions anyways. Just wait for the birds to fly past. When the birds are making the most amount of noise, you know that it's a really peaceful morning. So I've just set the camera up for this shot and I'm pretty happy with this composition. So I was just going to talk you through the sort of thing that I've done here. I've got this cluster of green rocks just in front of me here. And the main rock is this fella here. But this is the cluster here. And this rock here is pretty much in the center of my image. I've then got this rock to the right-hand side, which helps lead the eye from the center through to the right-hand side and then off, using this cliff on the right to lead the eye through that image, certainly on the right-hand side. So I'm actually focused on this rock here. As you can see that the camera is quite low to the ground because I'm trying to get reasonably close to that green rock. And yeah, that's where I'm focused. In terms of settings, I'm on ISO 64. My aperture is f13 for a reasonably large depth of field because the rocks, while they aren't really close to the camera, are reasonably close in comparison to the cliff. And my shutter speed is 1/5 of a second. So on the Z7, I've got the 14 to 30mm lens here, and I'm on around about 17mm. And then on the front, I've got the polarizer, and that's just taking any glare off any wet surfaces. I must admit I was playing around with it. It wasn't really doing a lot, but was taking a little bit of glare off the water on the left-hand side, so I decided to keep it on there. I've also noticed that as the sun has come up, the sky is getting a lot brighter than the foreground and the cliffs here. So while I'm not bracketing my shots, I am taking a series of exposures at different shutter speeds, just to make sure that I've got the right exposure for the foreground and the cliffs, and then also another darker exposure for the sky. The colour from the sunrise only lasted a minute or so, but I was lucky enough to grab a series of shots just as the light was hitting the cliffs. I used a brush tool to increase the warmth and exposure on the cliffs and bring out some of that detail. I did the same thing on the left, but used the radial tool to increase the glow of the light coming from the horizon. While I used the radial tool to brighten the green rocks in the foreground, and a series of brushes to darken down some of the other areas, I still struggled with how busy the beach was, and I felt that those green rocks were getting a little bit lost in amongst everything else that was happening. As a result, the foreground ends up being messy and distracting. I shared this image because it was the format that I had in mind when I was out on location and I was describing to you. However, when I was editing it, I tried a different crop, a 3:1 ratio, where I had less of the foreground in the image. I removed the green rocks in the centre, but kept the main orange rock on the right hand side. This helps clean the foreground up and potentially makes a stronger image. There's no right answers here, but I'd love to hear your opinion. Which version do you prefer, the full crop or the pano crop? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I've been using Squarespace for years before they started supporting the channel, and that's why I can genuinely recommend them. Building a website through Squarespace was one of the best things I did for my photography, because I've created my own space on the internet where I can display my images as well as share my photography adventures. I decided to use Squarespace because of how quick and easy it was to build a website. They offer a large range of gorgeous templates which are packed full of features. Plus, they're responsive, so my site looks great whether you're looking at it on a mobile phone, a tablet, or a desktop, which is really important nowadays. The website is also easy to maintain because it doesn't matter whether I'm at home or on the road, I can quickly update it through the browser or the app that you can download. If you're just starting off, you might have a couple of questions, and for that you can turn to their award-winning 24/7 customer service, and they'll be happy to help you out. You can start your free trial right now at squarespace.com, where you can begin building your site in a matter of seconds. If you do check them out and you want to go ahead with a website beyond the trial, make sure you go to squarespace.com/Andrew Marr to get 10% off your first purchase. All right, so that's it for this morning. I hope you enjoyed the video and any of the images that I took. If you did, please give the video a like. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload my next video. But until next time, guys, thanks very much for watching.